Welcome to Puro Pinche Sports. I am your host, Garza. Alongside with me tonight is my co-host Arturo Ibarra. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Art. I'm doing
Happy.
good, man. I'm doing good. Sometimes sometimes when you look to your left, sometimes
When
when you look
life
to
gives
your
you
right,
lemons, it's gonna make
you,
lemonade.
you just feel that sensation of I told you so. I told you. I knew my shit. I've been talking my shit for the last 2 years. You know what I'm talking about. It ain't no surprise what we're talking about. Guys, welcome to the episode. Welcome to the Puerto Rico Sport. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the UFC 276 fight card. We're going to be talking about some NBA free agency movement, some trades. We'll even discuss maybe just a little bit about the Baker Mayfield trade to Carolina. But all right, we'll start it off, like I said, with the UFC 276 card. It was a weird card. I don't know what more to say other than that. It was a very strange card. We had a weird way to start the night as far as the main card, and a weird kind of ending. But it's kind of like what you expect at this point with those fighters. But let's kick it off with the main event. Art, the champion, middleweight champion Israel Adesanya retained his title against Jared Cannonier. And honestly, the sad thing is the most impressive thing that happened in the night was Izzy's walkout, doing a tribute to The Undertaker, having the urn that said Jared on it. It's over. He's going to kill him. Does the Undertaker entrance with the hat, with the song, with Vince McMahon, Triple H, and even Pat McAfee in the building. All of that entrance. And the fight was... How would you describe the fight, Art?
I think it was baseline. It wasn't something exciting. It wasn't something that got us off our feet. There were a couple of instances that I felt like Jarrett was giving him a fight, but yet again, it wasn't like, oh dang, like this is a perfect shot, like we got a good hit. Um, it was Israel's fight. Like, I mean, he wasn't overly fighting. They weren't overly engaging, so there wasn't a lot of engagement from both, a lot of excitement. I know there was a lot of comments from some of the viewers, some of the people that showed up to see the fight ringside. They're like, hey, I mean, if you're talking all this shit, like, might as well pump it up. But overall, it was a good fight. Israel did what Israel does. Jared couldn't really do much. It looked like he wanted a takedown or something, but Israel just defended them great. So he did his thing. He defended his title. So what else do you want?
I mean, Israel Adesanya had, what he would describe an off night, but unfortunately, it feels like sometimes with his title defenses, as great as he is, as great a talent he is, he has a lot of off nights when it's time to defend the title, right? We've seen this kind of like lackluster result with his fight with now Cannonier, Marvin Vittori, Yoel Romero, and it just doesn't seem like sometimes he's really like feeling that killer instinct that he had while he was on the chase for the title. And sometimes it's an issue when you are the champion, is that you get that comfort zone. It's like, I like the money. I like what comes with it. I love the promotions, the sponsorships, and all that stuff. And I said it with the preview last week with Marco on. I said, to really get the best out of Izzy, you have to really test him. Now, Jared had a little bit of a game plan with the, Rush trying to get a takedown off the cage and stuff like that. Of course, he just couldn't grasp his hands right behind Izzy. Izzy defended very well the takedowns, but Izzy was never in danger. It was never really something that he pressed to really have a big fight. He had that with Kelvin Gastelum before his championship fight with Robert Whittaker. And that's like the real last time we've seen him challenged. The last time we even seen him take out somebody was just TKO or anything. It's Paulo Costa when he made him his bitch essentially. But we don't have anybody that's really challenging him, and nobody really thought. I mean, not to sound disrespectful to Cannonier, right? I wasn't thinking he was at the level to beat him. He couldn't be Whitaker. I mean, and Whitaker couldn't even sniff freaking Izzy's jock strap. So it is what it is, man. I mean, Izzy's just when you clear out of the division, it's kind of tough to like feel that motivation, like I can keep doing. But the problem with Izzy too is he can't go up because he's already lost at the title going up once. Can he go down? Maybe. You never know. Maybe he could lose 15 pounds, but we will talk about a possible contender very soon. Art, any final thoughts on Izzy versus Cannonier?
No, like you said, it was a good fight to watch. Like it kept people entertained. It wasn't something like to be overly excited like the other fights. I believe there were actually some other prelim fights that were actually better than that main event.
But it also shows you levels of Izzy. It just shows you level of Izzy, right? Like he's just that damn good.
But at the same time, it's like if the only thing he has to lose is the championship, right? So why put himself on the line?
Everything with the championship, like I said,
like there's no need for him to get himself and put himself on the line. Just take it easy, put your shots in, win the fight. He just needs to retain. He doesn't need to go crazy. But yet again, like there's not one contender right now that has been able to push him to say, oh, you know what, like it's gonna be a beatdown. Like you said, there's a couple of people or this one person that we're thinking.
We'll talk about them just a bit.
Who could bring him to his toes? So that might be possible. But yet again, there's other talks of who wants Adesanya and like if those other people deserve the shot right away. So
I'll say yes right now. But anyways, we'll move on into the next topic. But first, before we hit that beat, we will be talking about Frankie's Barbershop. They are the sponsor of this episode, Art. Because you got that nice fresh cut right now, thanks to Frankie's Barbershop. Mo got you guys. Frankie got you. I mean, Art, tell me this. When every time you go there, you trust these men to cut your hair, make you look nice and clean, nice and fresh, and you come home and your wife's like, what's up, girl? What's up? That's right. That's how they make you look, gentlemen. They'll make you look fresh, as clean for your girl, for your guy. It don't matter. They will make you look good. How good? Arturo Ibarra good. Go check them out at 3203 Nacogdoches Road, Suite 100, 78217 here in San Antonio, Texas. They will take care of you. Anyways, Art, you and your little fresh cut right there. We are moving on to the co-main event. And why, Art, why do I feel so good about this? Why do I feel so good about talking about Alexander Volkanovski defending, retaining, become still undisputed UFC featherweight champion over Max Holloway for the third time? Art, talk to them for me.
In the words wise of Mike, another person who's been in the show, he did keep asking the whole fight, do people see anything different? Do we see anything interesting? And, people were baffled. People were muted the whole fight. So it was just, there was no way. Like, there's one thing that I could say that person was right about. If Max Holloway would have come out guns blazing, then maybe he would have had a chance.
Say his name. Say his name.
But he was in the podcast last time. Marco, like, I'm sorry, man, but that fight had you shut. The fact that you had to leave, not even to watch the main event, that was even crazier, man. But Jose, you had him. You had him since 2 years ago, whenever that first initial discussion was between Volk and Max. So I was going Volk also. So I learned my lesson the one time that I lost.
Myself, you, Jay, Mike, all said, let's go Volk. I talked my shit for the last 2 years. I said Volk has that pedigree, that thing that Holloway can't get past. Holloway's great talent. No one disputes that. No one disputes how great Holloway is. He is at a different level than the guys beneath him. There's nothing that they could do to stop him, but there is one man who has toppled him not once, not twice, but 3 times in a trilogy. Art, a trilogy I mentioned multiple times that did not need to happen. Volkanovski was already 2-0. He did not need to give Holloway a third crack. He did not need to validate himself to a Daniel Cormier, to a Brendan Schaub, to anyone else, especially to a Marco Monreal. Because Alexander Volkanovski had proven at those fights with his significant strikes, with his beatdown, winning 6 of 10 rounds to win and then retain the title. He didn't need to do this. What happened to Max Holloway this past Saturday? It did not need to happen. But it did. And you know what happened? A big old scar is now left in the eye of Max Holloway. So every time he looks in the mirror, he knows that Alexander the Great, Volkanovski did that to him. Alexander Volkanovski is the best featherweight ever. 5 rounds are 5 dominant rounds that it wasn't once, that it was clearly one-sided. It was never really a challenge. Marco was right. Hold on, I'll let you go right now. Marco was right. Max needed to press. He needed to put in that pressure. He needed to show that emotion, that heart, that he wanted the title back. The same way he was doing all that bravado in the press conference and at the weigh-ins. Where was that once that everyone left the cage and it was just him and Alex? It disappeared. You know what I saw? I saw nothing. Go ahead, Art.
No, and you're right, and we've seen it. I mean, he did not have to take that third fight. We've talked about it. We've had that discussion before. Yes, whatever. That was that controversy fight where it was anonymous, blah blah blah, all this and this. But at the end of the day, it's his significant strikes and his total strikes. Like, I'm looking at the fight stats right now. Like, there was 0 knockdowns. Total strikes from Volk, there were 204 out of 377, and he had 199 significant ones. So that's a 5.6 point difference from the total strikes landed to the ones that were significant. Then from Max, it was 161 that he threw to 335. So they threw about the same punches, same strikes. Okay, I'll give you that. But he only landed 127. Like, that is nowhere close to what Volk landed.
Those strikes a lot of those were desperation throws too. A lot of them that he was feeling around like, I didn't understand it. Max Holloway's a crisp boxer, but the jab, Volkanovski just jabbed him the whole way, just kept keeping
he was tagging him the distance. Whole night.
You have to remember, Max has the height advantage. He has the reach advantage. He has all the advantages that you would think on paper Max Holloway should get this fight. But Alexander Volkanovski is no punk ass bitch. I'll tell you again, he is not a punk ass bitch. He gets in there. He doesn't care if you're as big as Max, as big as Brian. He doesn't care how lengthy you are as Corey and Zombie. It doesn't matter who you are. He's going to get in there. Dirty boxing and all. He's going to use that jab, fucking throw it as many times. And if you can't get past that, then he's just going to keep it going and going and going. And that's what happened. And then he threw it up with the combos.
Volk felt disrespected with this fight. Like, he took it out of like, like, I'll take it just to shut you up, to prove that. Actually, not even to prove it. He didn't have anything to prove. He just did it. It's like, all right, you know what? Let's prove the haters wrong. And during the fight, man, like during the fight, he's like, come on, bring it on. You were talking all this shit. Like, come on, bring it on. And it's just like that, man. It's just like a little annoying fly that just keeps coming up. And he just swatted Max Holloway out of the air. And that's pretty much what happened that Saturday night at your house. That's literally what happened. And I'm sorry, man, but it was a sad night. I've never seen someone's spirit. I've never seen you take someone's spirit that bad at the beginning of the second round. That was bad.
I don't worry about it, man. Don't worry. It's what I do sometimes. It's okay. It's happened to me. You know what? I've accepted it. I've eaten a chip. I've burned my asshole from midnight to 7 a.m. I've shaved my face off and looked like the ugliest thing in the world. Like, I've honored my losses, and I accept them as is. But when I win, Art, I'm also a loud son of a bitch. I'm a loud son of a gun.
No, and I get you. Like, when you win, it's great. You won.
It's great.
Blow it up. Like, hey, you won. When you lose, just be a man. say, you know what, I lost the bet, I lost the fight, I lost my prediction. Move on from it, learn from it. You know, like that's how it is. That's what this is. We do this for fun. That's why we go to your house and watch all the fights.
It is for fun because
So
we're boys. We're gonna fucking rag on each other nonstop. How many times did Jay rag on me? How many times did you rag on me? How many times did Mike rag on me? And what?
yeah.
I always clap back because they're my boys. You're all my boys. I'm always gonna have fun with y'all. And at the end of the day, this topic with Marco, which I've debated with him, like I said, for 2 years.
It's close. It's over.
It's over. It's not even close. It's over. They've had 15 rounds, 75 minutes of action. 11 rounds to Volkanovski, 4 to Holloway. It's done. This topic is over. I never want to hear it again. It's not going to be brought up anymore. If I hear any negativity towards Volkanovski, I'm going to be like, go watch the third fight of Holloway. Go watch the second fight. Go watch the first, because that man was considered for a little bit, just a little bit, the best featherweight ever. And Volkanovski took that away in less than 2 years. Yep. Beautiful stuff.
It was
Beautiful
a great fight.
stuff.
We saw a lot of technical ability from Volk, and I've told you this. Like, man, that man plays chess with his opponents. The first round, there's nothing that he needs to do. He picks them out, and that second round, he just comes out bolting and saying, "Okay, you did this the whole first round. All right, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to be tagging you over and over again. I'm going to get into your head." And that's what he did. Like, he got in the Korean Zombie's head. He got in Holloway's head. He got in Ortega's head. And like, that was a great motherfucking fight. And that actually was a better fight than the Max Holloway fight. Like, my respects to those two guys, but they went at it. And Volk, yet again, he came out undefeated saying, "This is my ring. This is my UFC."
What Ortega did that Holloway didn't is that he found an opening. Not that he showed something. He actually found an opening. And he caught Volkanovski, right? Otherwise, Volkanovski's on the ground, desperately trying to avoid that guillotine, and then desperately trying to avoid the triangle. Ortega found a way. Volkanovski said, "I'm not going to let myself slip up anymore." Didn't slip up with Korean Zombie. Didn't show any signs of slip up against Holloway. So now Volkanovski is thinking, fuck, I've done a lot with this division. And there's really, after Holloway, there's really not much I can do. I'm getting older. I think I'm going to test my waters now with 155. I want to see what I can do. Can I become a double champ? Can I do more? So we're going to see, Art, if Volkanovski not only becomes champion, is champion in the 145 division, can also become champion in the 155 division. We shall see. There's a lot of top contenders still at the lightweight division. The real champion, Charles Oliveira, is Makachev. You got Michael Chandler right there winning some good fights. And you still got Conor McGregor. Don't matter how many times he loses, he's still going to be in the conversation.
Did you see that post that they say it's like, it doesn't matter what, McGregor always skips the line. He always skips the line, and he gets it. But why does he get it? Because he has that
no, because he brings in the money. Red panty night. Yes,
he brings in the money. But yet again, he's earned that respect. And he said, I'm in the Hall of Fame, and like a lot of people would disagree with him. I do consider him one of the Hall of Fame. Why? Because of what he's
got to be in the Hall of Fame easily. Exactly. It's not even a question.
No, because of what he has paid for the UFC, how much money he has brought into the UFC, and he's one of those loud fighters. But yet again, like, I think at this point, if Volk decides to go up, doesn't matter who the hell is the contender. I think they should give him a shot at Oliveira.
The title's vacant right now, so we'll see what happens. Well, the title is vacant. Obviously, Islam Makhachev is still talking his talk, but we'll talk more about the lightweight division moving forward. But just know that Volkanovski is looking to move up. The third fight on the card was a middleweight contenders fight. It was pretty much a title contender fight because really anywhere above the list, there's really no one else. It was Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, guys, like I mentioned last episode, is a guy who's got Izzy stretchered, is a guy who knocked him out, who got him out of there, not essentially out of kickboxing, but essentially when, Izzy was looking great, winning a lot, fantastic. The man currently has over 100 combat fights, so maybe that also explains a little bit why he, a little passive sometimes, not, going for the killer instinct. But Alex Pereira went in there, not a ranked fighter, mind you, against the number 4 ranked Sean Strickland in the middleweight division. stood toe to toe with him, and Sean Strickland, stupid enough, just decided I'm not going to bow my head. I'm not going to move my left and right. I'm going to have no footwork or nothing, no head work, and he just got bow with the left hook, fucking dropped him, and then he got killed with another right just for satisfaction. First round prediction, by the way.
Shut.
First round prediction. I said it last week, Art. I said this is going to end in the first round, and what happened? First round knockout. What are your thoughts on Alex Pereira? He is now currently ranked the number 6 middleweight. Sean has been dropped to 7. Don't know why. Alex Pereira is only at 6, not even higher. When Paulo Costa hasn't even won a fight in 3 years, and he's still ranked ahead of him. But anywho, what are your thoughts on Pereira and the possibility of him fighting Izzy now for the middleweight title?
So I think that would be a nice fight, first of all, between him and Izzy. I think that's going to be one of those fights that tests the waters on Izzy's behalf, just because of we know the history. Overall, man, the guy, he's a really meticulous fighter. Like he didn't rush it, and I don't know if it's you see this a lot with a lot of Brazilian fighters. They're real meticulous on how they approach their fight, and whenever they do approach it, they're really like picky at how they're gonna make their approaches. If they're gonna go for a hit, if they're gonna throw a punch, if they're gonna go for the takedown, if they're gonna submit. They're just really, really strategic with how they do that. And that's what this fight was. Like, I don't think in the press conference, I didn't hear Pereira like open his mouth and talk all this big talk. But like, I'm pretty sure there's other UFC and boxers from Brazil that like to run their mouth, but they don't talk out like that. They put it all in the ring. And Strickland, man, like he opened his mouth. He didn't have anything to say to Izzy. And he got his mouth, like he got it shut quick. So I think Pereira has the caliber for it, man.
Sean Strickland was too focused on Izzy. He was looking past Pereira, which made no sense. He underestimated the kickboxing skills of Pereira. He said it himself. He's like, I don't think he has anything. What is his kickboxing skills? It means nothing to me. And it's stupid mindset to have, especially when you're considered a top contender in your division and you're fighting a guy that is not, like I said, is not ranked. You are more to lose anything than him. You have a lot more to lose than him because he has a recognition of beating Izzy before. He's got over 40 kickboxing fights. We know that for sure. He's got, a 1-0 record in boxing, and now he's 6-1 in MMA. So he's moving on up in his career, and now, I mean, you're just stupid. Like if you saw the press conference last week before the pre-fight press conference, you saw all the chit chatter Strickland was having over Izzy. He was having a lot of fun. He was mocking his love for manga and anime, and so like that. And he was mocking Pereira for his kickboxing stances and his skills. I'm like, and at the end of the day, no footwork, no head movement, just standing, just walking him down. That's what I heard someone say. I don't know who it was, right? It wasn't Marco. It wasn't you, but it was Jesse or Mike. Someone said he's just walking him down. I'm like, he's walking him down with terrible movement. And I think that's what it meant. I think it was Jesse. I think Jesse said it because he's walking him down with terrible movement. There's nothing, especially with Jesse. He knows he's had years of experience with his, amateur boxing. And just what Strickland's strategy was just dumb. And he deserved to get knocked out. And it's over for him. I don't see him moving back up. It just, shows negligence, especially at his age. Like, I think he's like mid-30s.
No, and Jesse said it. Jesse said it correctly. I mean, I have no boxing experience. I've done some train camps and everything, but the first thing that they tell you, like the first rule of thumb, man, if you're fighting a boxer or a kickboxer that has that, like, that under their belt, like they have that Swiss knife under their belt. You don't square up and open up your chest and walk towards the guy with your head up front without doing any head wobbling. Like, this guy's just like, he was like, come on, hit me. He wanted it. So, and that's what Jesse said, like, this guy's just getting walked. Like, he's walking him, like he's waiting, and he baited, like,
and
he baited that guy.
Pereira's so experienced at kickboxing because that's his forte. That I mean, he's just weighing his chance. Like, okay, you're walking me down. We're giving distance. Bah, that's it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
done. It was over. We can move on from that. The next fight that we saw, which would consider probably fight of the night, was Robbie Lawler losing to Brian Balbena, and it was, I
that was
mean,
crazy.
a war, a war. But Barberena got the finish via TKO in the second round, in the closing seconds too. There was like 13 seconds left, and the judge said, "No, I mean, the ref said it was done. It's done. We can't do this no more." Like, I mean, it was crazy. It was back and forth. Robbie Lawler had a lot of good shots in there, trying to show some of that younger Robbie in him still. Like, but but Reina Bryan he didn't quit. He just kept going, bam, 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 bam. I mean, what
It
can we
was
say?
that
It
was
was,
a
it
good
was,
fight.
it was, and it wasn't even supposed to be on the main card. It was supposed to be on the prelims, but Misha Tate versus Laura Murphy got canceled,
Yep.
and this guy moved up, and thankfully so, because this was just a fun fight. Any thoughts on this one other than Batman?
It was a great fight. There was moments where I saw Barberena was he was kind of like wobbling down, and you saw Lawler being like, "Okay,
Spaghetti legs.
I got this, yeah." And then it was like another freaking hit from Barberena, and then Lawler looked like that, and then it was like back and forth, and Barberena just caught him right on the freaking. I think it was on the chin, man. Like he just wobbled him back, and got him again. And he was falling down, and I know he got pissed because they stopped the fight, but it's like, dude, you were out. Like your eyes rolled back whenever he hit you.
Robbie's a warrior. He's a former welterweight champion. In my opinion, one of the best welterweight champions we've had in all of them, man, not just UFC. He just had the heart that he didn't want to quit. His mindset is kill me to call it. Don't. But his chin is not the same. He's lost a lot of fights. If you've talked, if you're happy, no, just because he beat Nick Diaz. I mean, Nick Diaz wasn't in the best shape. He threw the slowest spinning wheel kick I've ever seen in my life. It is what it is. And that fight made up a little bit for what happened in the first fight in the main card. Sean O'Malley versus Pedro Munoz got called off. No contest. Accidental eye poke. Me and you and everybody there, obviously, we didn't really believe it was serious enough to call it. Apparently, it's he got a torn cornea in there, so it fast movement, it got him. It is what it is.
It
But I
wasn't
mean,
his fault, man.
we
He
saw
moved his head towards it, but
we saw O'Malley, pretty much controlling that fight up until that point. But it is what it is. I know we were also speculating that Munoz was probably trying to escape, call it, oh no, he DQ him, stuff like that, which, as a smart guy, like what, why not?
It was a good fight. The 2 rounds that the fight had, like freaking O'Malley just, man, he was making fun of them, man. Like, and I'm pretty sure Munoz got upset. Got in his head.
It was
but
beautiful. The spinning wheel kick, Munoz throws, and then he ducks. He said, "Nah," and then he does it himself. Like, what's up? What's up?
Great.
It was not. I mean, come on, man. That was entertaining as hell. That was the only entertaining part, unfortunately. But the fight ended, no contest. I don't know if they'll win it back. If they do, cool. I'm not. I saw enough to say O'Malley was a better fighter. Yeah. No offense. Munoz is on the decline of his career. O'Malley's moving up, and obviously the UFC is going to showcase him more. So we'll see what happens for them next. But guys, if you saw the rest of the card, I mean, it was a hell of a card, prelims, all wise. So let me run it down real quick. Jalen Turner getting that submission victory in 45 seconds. Guilty cut.
Great.
Jim Miller retiring, getting revenge in his rematch against Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone laying the gloves down, laying his hat down, saying it's done. I got nothing more in me. I don't love this anymore. Ian Gary from Ireland just going out there, putting on a showcase, showing that, he's still young, 10-0 now. He's going to keep moving on up. The fight of the night, the fight of the night prior to Barberena KOing Lawler was, to me, I'll try to say this correctly, Dricus Duplessis beating the hell back and forth with Brad Tavares until it's just no more. And give it up to both men for fighting hard as they did. It was a beautiful fight. Andre Muniz beating Uriah Hall in an easy lackluster fight. I mean, that was probably like the worst
But
fight on the
so
card.
so that's what I was talking about. Like Andre Muniz, like the way that he fought, like he was just, I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna slow my tempo, get my
I'm gonna
submission.
take
That's what
him
I want.
down. I'm gonna keep him in
Take him
there.
down. So that's
Because
literally what Pereira does too. But he did it the boxing way.
yeah, I mean, but he didn't like holding him on the ground. Really didn't do. Bro, he hit 17 punches. I'm like, three. You 15 minutes and you average one
Yep.
hit a minute essentially. Right? I'm not no. Macy Barber retiring Jessica I via decision. Jessica I 5-10-1, no contest in the UFC, hanging up the glove, says she's not in for her. Macy Barber moving on up for the flyweight division. Jujila Stoliarenko dislocating the arm of Jessica Rose Clark. It was a
That was
beautiful
a
way to start the
crazy.
night. 42 seconds in, it was a good, nice little combo, and then she switched it up. Nice little double leg. She got side control on the right side, and then switching at the armbar on the right. It was done. It was a beautiful way to start the show. But anyways, Art, that's UFC 276. Any important key notes you want to run down about that card before we move on?
No, it was like I said, it was a great. I think the whole night was packed of great fights. The prelim and the early prelims, they were great finishes, great fights that we had. So overall, it was a good fight. I know UFC 277 is going to be also another double champion,
Total
right?
title fight.
Double
Interim
title
title
fight.
fight.
So
Interim
that's going to be fun too.
flyweight title fight between Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France because Davidson Figueiredo is sidelined right now. Plus, he doesn't want to fight Moreno again for the fourth time, but he won't have a choice if Moreno wins the title, the interim title here. Also, main event is Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes for the bantamweight title. At this point, I'm gonna just give you my prediction now. Pena will win again. I say this won't be by decision, and it's just more because I don't see Nunes really having the motivation to like. That hunger for her is no longer there, in my opinion. Now, if Nunes is still always a killer instinct, she could always win it back, whatever. But I just also don't see she's already the woman goat. Like right now, like there's really not much for her to be like, I want this too much. And you said yourself, you watched The Ultimate Fighter, and you were not, you're not motivated in what Amanda Nunes is putting out there. But we'll leave that for another time, Art. Let's move on to the NBA free agency. Obviously, it happened last week, starting out around 5 o'clock Thursday and no, Friday, whatever it was, July 1st, I think. Anyways, we saw a lot of movement going on, a lot of players declining their player option only to reestablish that, hey, re-signing. Some players got traded. Overall, what were your key signings or trades that you think will impact the league moving forward?
Carl Anthony Town, man. I think that max deal,
the Supermax,
that best thing they could have done. I think he's going to be the franchise. No, come on, man. Like that was a stupid deal. He hasn't done anything. No. He has done nothing for the organization. That I think it was a wasted money to put on him. He has not done anything. He's a good player, but he has not done what he was supposed to do for the organization.
As the number one overall pick, not that long. I mean, 6-7 years ago, he hasn't done anything. Yeah, that one we discussed it with Mike, who's big basketball aficionado. He loves basketball. He has everything for him is basketball. And how do you sign a man who shows up once every 3 games, and especially when you need him in playoff situation? I remember when we predicted the first round, and I was like, you know what? T-Wolves have a chance to beat Ja and the Grizzlies. They have a Cat who's a big size man. They have an Anthony Edwards who can, try to match up with Ja. Not the same level, but he could try. And that team overall is that they could do it. And they could have if they didn't blow three double-digit leads and lose to the Grizzlies. Like, and it's a lot of that has to do with the fact that these guys start showing heart in the second half. These guys didn't motivate at all. And you think trading for Rudy Gobert, and now you're gonna call them the new Twin Towers? You think that's gonna help you, Minnesota? Absolutely not. I'm gonna tell you right now, absolutely not. Rudy Gobert, yes, give him his flowers for being a top defender. But are you really taking away Cat off the post to put him at the perimeter so he can shoot threes because that's the best for him? Come on. Come on, bro. It's just come on. Now, don't give me that shit. Like I don't care. I don't care that you guys gave away all the first round picks that you did. I don't care you give up the players that you did. It's whatever. But the fact that you think Carl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert is going to be the best dynamic duo, this is the best team ever. No. They'll still be in the playing tournament. I'm going to tell you right now, they will still be fighting in the playing tournament. They're going to struggle because the West is still stacked. It doesn't matter who they are. They cannot get past the Warriors. It doesn't matter if Clay is hurting or getting older. It doesn't matter if Steph is getting older and hurting. It doesn't matter if Draymond is still Mr. Triple Single. They're not getting past the champs. Not like that. Not even past the Suns. So or the Grizzlies. So we'll see there. For me, Art, obviously, big Spurs guy. Big change for me to see DeJounte Murray moved, traded away to the Hawks for a bunch of first-round picks, essentially in a swap and a conditional first-round pick. Obviously, Spurs are rebuilding. What does that tell you more for the Hawks, though? Because now you added another point guard, an all-star point guard. Are you moving Trey to the 2? Are you moving DJ to the 2? What does this mean for the Hawks, in your opinion?
So I think the Hawks are ready to. I mean, they've been a contender. No, there's no disagreeing there. But I think now they're like, okay, this is our time to do it. They have good players and they have the potential to do it. But this is one of the things that I had told you. Like it's not a one-man team, and he couldn't do everything by himself. So now adding DeJounte Murray, it leaves a little outlet open for them to do a little bit more play. I think he does. They move him back to the 2 and they put DJ at the 1. Like,
okay,
I think that's what's gonna work just to relieve some of the pressure off of him.
That's gonna be weird because Trey loves to handle the ball a lot. Obviously the game plan over the Hawks, it's run by him, and the reason I know that they had discussions prior to the trade, like, oh man, it'd be great if we played together, yada yada yada, all this other stuff. Like that's nice, right? Like DJ is a top defender. He was the best steal. He had the most steals last year and everything. The problem is, what didn't work out with DJ and DeMar was that DJ thought a lot of the times he should have been the closer than DeMar, even though DeMar had the more experience, the more trust and stuff like that. And now that the first year you get it, you're bouncing, right? Not because obviously the team is not in the position it's going to be in, right? They're going to be rebuilding. They don't want him to be stuck in a rebuild team, so they're like, you know what, go out and win, whatever. But with the Hawks, I don't know, man. He's got 2 more years left on his contract, so I don't see this working out that great for them. I think after the Hawks, he'll move on to, another possible super team or whatever it is, but we'll see how that goes. Let me look at these. What do you think about the Jalen Brunson signing to New York? Obviously, there's some tampering there, but he's getting over $100K, and he's never been an all-star. And he's leaving Luka for New York. So what are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a good moves depending on who New York's going to lose. Just because of, there's talks about certain players, not moving or going forward with the organization, but they are going to sign their deal. So I think they're just trying to relieve some of that pressure from the big body people.
That's the Knicks, but you think they're trying to get one of the Brooklyn boys? Obviously, it would have to be KD because Kyrie's the same position as Brunson.
Yep. No, yet again, they did tank the draft. So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to replace that piece that they traded away for no freaking reason. But whatever. Overall, whether it's a tampering or not,
There were talks weeks before, bro. The free agency, like, come on, like you're not supposed to talk to the player, you're not supposed to talk to the agent or anything. There are already reports of 4 years, 100 mil. Come on, that's tampering. That is tampering, bro. That is finest. Like no one's getting flags for that right now. I mean, it sounds like New York's gonna get hit with a penalty for it, but come on. 2 weeks before free agency, and it's already reports, yeah, he's gonna get 100 mil for 4 years. Jalen Brunson, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. But
So
do you really
what
know
happens? What does he have to pay?
he's not gonna have to? It's not gonna hit him. It's gonna hit the organization. They're gonna lose like a first round pick for it. They're the ones getting fined. Is it worth it? Is Jalen Brunson really that game changer to be like, oh yeah, he's worth it? He's worth the tampering. Like you couldn't just waited until free agency.
I guess for them it is. I don't know, but
I mean they're desperate times. You got RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. I don't think is still happy with the organization. I think he'll force his way out still, just like many others have. James Harden has yet to re-sign with Philly after he declined his player option with them. I don't think they're finding a number that he likes. We don't know what's going on with KD, what team he's going to be moved, if he's going to be moved at all. Kyrie obviously signed his player option, but he wants out. It made it easier for him to get a sign and trade somewhere else. The Lakers are trying. Westbrook might be offloaded on the Spurs for all we know, as part of the deal.
How would you feel about that?
That's fine. We have a lot of cap space. Unload him on us for like a year. Maybe we'll probably buy him out, or he'll play and it'll be whatever. I mean, with the Spurs,
I like Westbrook as a player. Like I think he's one of those underrated players yet again, but
yeah,
he sometimes doesn't perform he's not the one either. Like I think he's in the same position as DeMar, like he's not the one. That's why he works so great with KD and Harden, like because he wasn't the one. He's not gonna perform at the one.
But he forced himself to be the one. That's the issue. That was why KD ran out. That's why, now Laker Nation doesn't like him, and that's why people call him Westbrick and all this stuff. That's because they don't like. He thinks he's still the best player out there, and he's still great. Like don't get me wrong, he's still good. Like if you get him as a little jackrabbit on your team, like he'll do good. But the way the game plan was set for him, what Frank Vogel did with the Lakers, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good setup. And also Anthony Davis was injured most of the year. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, you can't even get in a rhythm with him because the boy doesn't show up. Like, he's hurt all the time. Like, 5 minutes in the game, he's out for the next 2 months. So it is what it is. We can leave it at that for right now for the NBA talk. Art. Obviously, big news in the NFL today was Baker Mayfield being traded to the Carolina Panthers for a 5th-round conditional pick. I mean, the Mayfield Brown era is over. Your quick thoughts on that?
The Browns fucked up that relationship with Baker, man. Like, I'm not saying Baker was going to win him a title, but he's the only quarterback that has taken him that far into the playoffs. And that's the second or third quarterback that they draft as a Heisman. And what have we seen with those Heisman like winning quarterbacks from the Browns?
Well, Johnny Manziel was overrated. Let's start with that. Baker Mayfield.
Yes, but like you're wasting your picks on that type of caliber for a QB, and then the QB that actually works out for you.
Oh, Baker was Heisman too, honestly.
Yeah, Baker was another Heisman. That's what I'm saying. Like, you drafted him, you had him, he took you to the playoffs not once but twice, and then you're like, never mind. Let me trade for someone else.
I think you let the outside noise get to you, right? Because we talked a lot like good stuff for them, like hyping them up for this past season, right? Yes, you know what I mean. We were hyping them up because they were doing good things. They gave the Chiefs a competitive fight. Yes, Patrick Mahomes got hurt, at the end of that game, the playoffs, not long ago. But even the first week of this past season, Browns and Chiefs, it was hella close. Browns could have won the game. Just, things happen. And, the organization just burning their bridges with them. Like, I think they let the media get to them. I get it. Baker's not the we rated quarterbacks. He's not the B. He's not the A guy. He's not the guy who's going to get you a Super Bowl. But sometimes you don't need that guy to win a Super Bowl. Nick Foles is a Super Bowl MVP. Again, people, think about that. Nick Foles. While yes, Carson Wentz did all the dirty work during the regular season,
he won
Nick Foles was the one who won all those games in the postseason, beating Tom Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
Like, so you're telling, and Jared Goff was a leading quarterback to the Super Bowl. You can't tell me if you had a good relationship with Baker, you have the great talents of Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, the tight ends y'all are overpaying for no fucking reason. The defense that you have, you're telling me these guys couldn't have led you to maybe a conference championship if you have a good relationship? All last year, Baker is playing hurt. He doesn't need to be playing hurt, but he's going out there. And you know what? He's trying. Whether, whatever you are, you're critiquing, well, he's just holding back the team. No, he is trying. He's going out there doing something that most players are like, ooh
I'm hurt. Yeah, no, and you're right on that. And that's the thing, like, he's not a back QB. He's so as a backup, he's one of the best backups. If he ends up being Sam Darnold's backup, which I completely doubt he's going to be.
Nope, he's not.
But he's a good quarterback. He has a good arm. He has a good read. It's just, like you said, it was a relationship that the organization put on him. They didn't have his back at specific times that they should have. Like the whole playing hurt. Dude, take your QB off the field and say, hey, get better.
And again, he's not perfect, right? Because obviously there's a relationship with Odell. Odell's dad came out on social media. He got Odell freed, criticized Baker. Sometimes the QB's audible, and then they'll make the best decisions for themselves. And I'm getting, we said it. Baker ain't the guy, like always. Like he ain't gonna be your first round pick in a fantasy football league or anything like that. But he's a guy that understands how to win. Sometimes he went to playoff championship games, or the Final Four for college football. He led this Browns team that was a joke of a franchise for years to their first victory in like 2-3 years at the time, and then they hit the playoffs, get the win over the Steelers, which is going to be one of Big Ben's last losses. Is that he lost to the Browns last time they met in the playoffs, and you burn the bridge with him because of whether it's his attitude issues, whether it's Odell, whether it's, I have a shot for Deshaun Watson and his, 66 sexual allegations. I have a shot for him. Maybe we should go ahead and do that right now. Yeah. Let's go Cleveland, Ohio, Ohio, shit like that. Now you're gonna have to run with Jacoby Brissett. Baker's gonna move on. Obviously, Baker's not gonna have a long-term career. He's gonna be more of a backup. But
unless he proves it, which this is his prove, or this is his make it or break it year. Yes, he's leaving. That's
you hear that, by the way?
Yeah, it's on your side. It was a truck, probably.
No.
Right.
I just want to know: is it bad? Like I know how bad it sounds here. Is it bad on your end?
Nah, I'm good. But
okay.
This is his make it or break it year for Baker. He's leaving the Browns after this bad organization relationship that they had. He's going to the Panthers. The Carolina Panthers have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They have a badass, injury prone now, but he's a good running back that you can dump up the ball to, and he'll get you yards after the catch.
Baker's a free agent after this year.
Exactly. So that's where I'm getting at. If he makes it in the Carolina Panthers organization, then he will have a resume. Say, you know what? Like, it wasn't just this bad year that I was playing hurt overall, but hey, I deserve a good deal as a starting quarterback somewhere else. So
he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight for a contract somewhere, obviously. And maybe, who knows, maybe Carolina will extend him out. Maybe they'll sign him and keep him and stuff like that. We'll see how it happens. The big thing that I saw someone else say that I think is possibly very true is that, yes, Tom Brady unretired right after 20 minutes. I'm pretty sure he's gonna retire again, and it's open field in the NFC South that anyone could take over. And Baker has a chance to say, "Hey, I'll prove you wrong. I got DJ Moore, got Robbie Anderson. Hopefully, he likes me now. I got the lawn being cut on my left. I got Christian McCaffrey. We can stay healthy, stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, good things for Baker. I just know his contract with Progressive is longer, or whatever
Yep.
the freaking company is. It's longer than his current NFL contract is. So we'll see how that goes. Art, do you have any plugs before we head out? Anything last words you want to say before we do?
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me at A_design Yabata Design on
Yeah.
Instagram. Y'all can hit me up about any questions about architecture design, any remodels that you guys want to do. I need to update my Instagram shortly,
Do it.
just because I'm doing a small little project in the backyard.
Yeah.
Pour some concrete on the back porch. So Jose saw it this weekend. It looked really nice. So yeah,
Along with the barbecue he fed me. Along with the barbecue he fed me when we were celebrating the 4th of Daniela. It's a joke. Don't worry about it, guys. But anyways, yeah, guys, follow him there. Follow us, Puro Pinche Sports, on Instagram at Puro Pinche Sports. Follow us on Twitter at Pinche Sports Pod. Follow Marco, guys. Give him a hug. Send them a little fist bump. Be like, hey, bro, it's okay.
Condolences.
Chin up, guy. You'll be fine. It's okay that Max lost for the 3rd straight time to Volkanovski. It's okay. Just remember to tell Max to call Alex daddy now. It's all right. It's no problem, right? But it's all good, guys. Check us out. And don't forget, Frankie's Barbershop. That's where you go for your cuts. You look at Art. Look how fresh he is. I haven't gotten a haircut in a minute, so don't look at me. Anyways, guys, for Arturo Ibarra, I am Jose Garza. We are Puro Pinche Sports, and we are out.